Hello, watchers, and welcome back, listeners, to our next Hero Atlas entry. Coming to you from the Plains of Eternal Carnage, it's your host, Fran Eden. So, last week, we ended on Dragon Knight. So we're picking up with Drow Ranger, and going to Ember Spirit. So that's Drow, Earth Spirit, Earth Shaker, Elder Titan, Ember Spirit. Yeah, I knew it. I'm a genius.
The mist that chills you keeps me warm.
I met Trax's family in a moss-roofed lodge under the pines, where the air was so thick with damp earth you could chew it. They were warm hosts, if a bit blunt. She was one of us from the start, her adoptive mother said, handing me a cup of hot mushroom tea. Quiet as a shadow, quick as a thought, we thought she was a changeling returned. Her uncle nodded. Trax was a natural. By 6 she could stalk a mouse across dry leaves. He took a sip. Shame about the face, though. Her aunt sighed. Both sides the same, and not a wart or whisker on either. So plain. No wonder she vanished. No wonder vanishing came so easily. They told me how she grew, towering over a kin until her head brushed the rafters. One day, she stepped out and didn't come back. Can't say I blame her. Always banging her head on everything, said her uncle. Poor gangly thing. She's still our Triax, though, her mother said firmly. We miss her. She thought, don't miss replacing all those broken rafters, though. Gibbons.
Earth Spirit.
Yeah, well, Earth Spirit. You too. Colin sits cross-legged on a verdant highland bluff, overlooking a lean corundum mine. Scratching a baby architect Strider's chin, his gentleness seems at odds with his bulk. Yet somehow, it's exactly what you'd expect. As we talk, he uses an unseen force to zigzag a stone for the Striderling to chase after. It's certifiably adorable. He'd once been a great general, whose exploits were memorialized in stone, but the jade that coursed through the ground also bore the earth spirit. It infused that spirit into the statue of Kalin. Now known as Earth Spirit, he has an awareness that transcends his stony form. My knowledge flows from the primal forces that formed this land to the trench bones of the seas, he tells me. His new purpose? Protect the unprotected, and destroy that which only lives to destroy. As I stand to stretch, my patch of the bluff collapses suddenly. I fall screaming more than a little and praying to every god I can think of. But then my descent slowly reverses until I come face to face with Kalin again. We all come from the earth, but today you shall not return to it, he tells me, smiling. I thank him profusely, and, done with cliffs for the day, leave him to his meditations.
Earth Shaker.
Earth Shaker. I found him in a quake-carved valley, the air gritty with crushed stone and fresh upheaval. The Nishi peaks loomed above, still sneezing little avalanches. He calls himself Rygar Stonehoof. Others call him Earthshaker. He's a little unresponsive, to be fair. He's literally made of stone. So I talked to his friends. We follow his orders, said a golem. He made himself. He's not like us. The gargoyle nodded. We stand guard. Rygor walks free. One year, the peaks went berserk. Avalanches roared and the earth unzipped. Current maps found their way into the junk heaps. When the dust cleared, Earthshaker emerged, shrugging off a mountain and brushing boulders from his shoulders. Word is, he'd been patiently assembling himself in a womb of bedrock. After a silence measured in geological time, he decided I was worth acknowledging. I am both stone and bone, he said. I live, I bleed, and someday I will die. When I return to dust, I will just be going home. Quibbins. Aw. What a guy.
It is only right that I am cast into this world, for I had a hand in breaking it.
Elder Sight. High on a jagged, sun-baked mesa in the Chaos Wastes, I stumbled under a rocky overhang for shade. To my surprise, already sheltered there was a series of murals, the pigment as cracked and ancient as the landscapes. At first glance, they read like a creation myth. The oldest painted images showed titanic figures, shaping mountains and pouring out oceans, as though the universe itself were clay. Then the greatest among the figures shatters the world, apparently by accident, over and over. Later drawings done by various hands show him painstakingly patching the pieces back together, with fragments lifted from who knows where. Meanwhile, tiny figures scurry along the edges. Perhaps the artists themselves? I traced one of the drawings with my finger. The mesa shivered. Probably a coincidence. And then it dawned on me. This wasn't a creation myth, but a warning. Whoever these painters were, or whatever happened to them, their message survives perfectly intact across the millennia. Danger, construction zone. Quibbins.
Call me Ember Spirit.
Ember Spirit. You are no warrior, the blazing warrior Zin said, his voice deep and tranquil. I explained hesitantly that in fact I was not. I'd actually wandered into the Wailing Mountains for days, seeking the Fortress of Flares, not to learn how to fight, but to learn more about him. Luckily, Zin the Ember Spirit didn't take offense. Knowledge is also vital, he says, bidding me to sit with him. To nourish our minds. I kept some distance. He wasn't malicious, but he still radiated uncomfortable heat. Zin spoke of how, in his human form, he'd studied both as a warrior and a poet. Through wisdom and strength, he'd mastered the obscure fighting art known as the Bonds of the Guardian Flame, and then sought to teach them to others. It didn't take long for word to spread to the wrong ears. I was no match. Too many hunted me, he explained. They killed Zin, but his life's work had inspired the burning celestial who brought him back as Ember Spirit. Zin went on to explain the wisdom of flame. His words were like burning fire themselves, impossible to grasp, but unwise to ignore. Good kind. Boop-a-doop. And that's actually first page done. Yay. Oop, come back here. That is first page done. And we're on to Enchantress to Gyrocopter next. Thank you so much for listening, and have a lovely evening.